Well, Karen Torre is one of the attorneys representing the firefighters, also at the Supreme Court during those arguments today. And New Haven firefighter Lieutenant Matthew Marcarelli is there as well, along with a lot of his colleagues, I understand. Lieutenant Marcarelli, by the way, we should point out, received the very highest score on this promotion test. I want to say congratulations to both of you for being here, and thanks for being here. And let me ask you the same question I asked Victor Bolden. Justice Kennedy's statement about race, he's uncomfortable with it being assigned to the results here. Is that does that give you any comfort?
You can't really take any comfort, Lou, or have any consternation about what any justice says. Trying to read tea leaves at any argument in an appellate court is pretty much a useless exercise. Anytime you watch an oral argument, certainly today, you get a little nervous when one justice starts asking certain questions. What does that mean? You know, why is he thinking that, or why is she saying that? And so, you know, I try not to try to read tea leaves on oral arguments.
Do you know Victor Bolden? Because you sound a lot like him.
Oh, no.
He's a good guy.
Well, you know, thanks for the compliment.
let me turn up to another issue, and that is the test itself.
Right.
The city threw the test out. What many people don't realize, it was almost 6 years ago that test was administered. Firefighters took it in the full faith that they would be treated based on the results, either promoted to lieutenant or captain, or denied promotion based on what they did to prepare for the test and the results they achieved. How in the world has this taken so long to be adjudicated?
Well, you know, you can't really blame anybody for that. Litigation in the federal courts can be a lengthy process, and the fact is that our legal system is complicated, and lawyers make it worse, and the rules allow for all kinds of motions and discovery disputes. The length of the case doesn't really bother me. Honestly, it doesn't. The outcome bothers me more than the length of time that the outcome took to come about.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons you'll forgive me for being anxious to get some sense of those tea leaves that both you and Victor have denied me. Let me say, Lieutenant, that I have to admire you and the other 19 firefighters. I've thought about this, and I don't know how I would react to having taken a test, being assured that based on that test, that we had a meritocracy and there would be a result. It just feels, how do you feel?
Well, Lou, I will say that there was a lot of talk of good faith, and we took a test in good faith after a long study period that we all were given the same amount of time to study, to prepare for these examinations, both the written portion and the oral scenario-based assessment. And we had good faith in the system that when the list was finally certified, that we would have ultimately been promoted and not denied those promotions based on our race.
Now, you're a lieutenant. You're responsible for the lives of many of your fellow firefighters as well as your own and the public safety. You have, I'm sure, a heightened sensitivity to the racial issues that are important in the workplace. Title VII, the equity that we seek in our society, that seems a laudable goal to you, does it not, as a manager of men and women who put their lives on the line for us civilians?
Well, I interpret it as all people should be treated equally, and that did not seem to be what was the case here. We were denied promotions based upon our race.
And how do your fellow firefighters feel? And I'm talking about your fellow firefighters irrespective of race. New Haven is a diverse community. What is the morale within the fire?
It has definitely had a negative impact on morale with the fire department. Both those 20 that are involved in the case and firefighters that are not involved in the case, as well as firefighters throughout the country.
Right.
This is happening all over the country, where firefighters are being denied promotions, advancement, based upon their race. regardless of the type of test that was given. In fact, just yesterday, firefighters in Bridgeport were denied promotions based on their race.
So where are we headed here? I mean, this test is before the Supreme Court. I'm not talking about the one that was taken nearly 6 years ago. But this case, this trial, this lawsuit, it will be determinant on a lot of fire departments, workplaces across the country. What are your thoughts as you think about the import?
Well, I can tell you what our hopes are. Having been involved in this case since 2003, I was surprised in doing the research to see just how endemic this is. I mean, what happened to these 20 men is not unusual. It has been happening to police officers, teachers, correction guards, firefighters in almost every major city in this country. Has been going on for years. Disparate impact litigation has become a plague on the efficient administration of government. And it is absurd to suggest that Title VII was ever meant to allow governments to effectively be paralyzed and cities unable to fill positions for 5 years because you're looking at the race of the successful people. This man sitting next to me is probably the most stellar candidate New Haven voters can have. He scores #1 in virtually every exam. He's got degrees, incredible credentials and experience. The public needs him and should have him. That's it.
Karen Torre, thank you very much. Lieutenant Marcarelli, thank you very much for being with us. And thank you very much, Victor Bolden, as well.
My pleasure.
Coming up at the top of the hour, no bias, no bull. Roland Martin.